drill. This is not a drill. This is real. This is not a drill.
No, it ain't. Can you hear me?
This is not a drill.
Shine it fine. Can you hear me?
This is not a drill.
No, it ain't. Let me hear you say.
This is not a drill. This is real.
This is the real thing.
Kim is ready. Kim is ready. Black August greetings, Black August resistance. Good morning. This is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580. Welcome in. My name is Melina Abdullah. I'm professor of Pan-African Studies at Cal State LA's College of Ethnic Studies. School is starting on Monday. Oh no! We back. Well, it'll be great. We'll talk about Freedom Campus class. It starts on Monday too. I'm in studio with my soror, my comrade, my friend, who is still turned up. I think you still turned up from last night. Justin Pearson got you hyped.
I mean, right?
Yeah, Justin Pearson had us all hyped last night.
I was impressed.
If y'all don't know Justin Pearson, the brother who is a state legislator right now in Tennessee, is running for Congress, and he's in California because his wife is from LA. His wife is from South Central. They are a powerful couple. I really, really like both of them. And we got to hang out with him last night, got to hang out with Robin D.G. Kelly last night. I don't know. He did say the brain power in this backyard is crazy. MacArthur genius Kelly Lytle Hernandez was there. A renowned legal scholar, Jody Armour, was there. It was some big brains.
Dr. Melina Abdullah Brilliance was there.
Oh, and my soror, Kim Holmes, was there. And we had a little baby soror there.
We had a little baby soror. We got the same last name. She's a Holmes too.
Yeah. It was a great gathering. Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove was there.
Mm-hmm.
That was some of the most powerful speaking I've heard her do. She's turned a little bit. She's grown in terms of her audacity. And I'm her constituent. I've known her for a long time, so I don't mean that as any shade, but we do know that this system will dupe you into believing you have to behave a certain way and speak a certain way and toe certain lines. And I was glad to hear her. And I've been glad to hear her over the last several months being much more courageous, especially as war is absolutely declared on Black people. We need electeds and we need everybody from every space to be willing to fight for Black people. Not say include us in your heinous system. Say this is a time, if you gonna come at us, let me tell you what we about to do when we say fascism is already here, in the words of Comrade George Jackson. All right, fascism is already here, and it should only be met with righteous and unwavering and courageous resistance. And so I think that's the vibe you in on today, Kim. Sister
Oh my
Kim
gosh. Yeah, yesterday was pretty powerful. I was very impressed with that brother because I went in all jaded, like, politician, what you gonna say?
You said, why you inviting me to this?
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing here? And I was like, oh, he's saying the right thing. Okay. Like, because the system has to be toppled. So, fighting from within doesn't always seem to be the thing. And so I was like, what he got to say? And I was very impressed.
I was very impressed. He had
him.
me rethinking my stance on American flags. Which anybody who knows me knows American flags make me cringe.
Same.
They feel like Confederate flags.
Same.
And he went in, and what I like about Justin Pearson is he said he reads every night from 8 to 10 is his reading time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love a well-read, you know, how you gonna be leading stuff and you ain't read nothing? I love a well-read person, right?
Same.
And so he went in on, he wears the American flag because the racist side lost. And we can have debates, but the Confederacy lost. So he's waving the American flag. I'm still not waving no American flag.
No, absolutely not.
I like the one that's red,
said,
black, and green, though.
But that's different.
Yeah.
But the American flag, every time I grew up in the South, man, and like you see a flag and you see a Confederate flag usually right next to it, to the point where, you know, you're just, anytime you see a flag, you assume the person inside the house is racist.
Right.
And that almost always is the truth.
If they have more than one American flag, they're absolutely white supremacists. Absolutely. If it's more than one American flag, you can kind of give some people a pass on their stance. I do give a few
for sure, particularly if they're veterans, like my grandfather had, like, so
or if
I
it's
understand
4th of July.
That.
I don't wear red, white, and blue. I don't fly an American flag.
Nope.
I reject the Juneteenth flag that was invented in the, what was it, 1997? I'm not using that flag.
Is that the one with the
red, white, and blue? Yeah, they just came up with that. So when they go, this is our Juneteenth flag. No, I'm a black woman whose roots are from Texas. I'm not flying that flag. I'm flying a red, black, and green flag, right? So I reject that, and y'all can debate me on it, to each his own. But
I'd rather hear from someone whose roots are there and knows. Thank you.
I'm not doing a red, white, and blue. So the so-called Juneteenth flag, just to be clear, and people Google it, don't believe me, was invented in 1997, I believe. So
97?
I think it's 97. So we were good and grown by then.
Yeah.
We were grown. I was in my 20s, but I was grown.
No, I was too.
I was not 53, but but I was grown in 1997.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, we're supposed to ground ourselves and then get into these headlines. We're having a good time. Again, you're welcome into the conversation. If you want to debate me on the use of red, white, and blue and the American flag, you can call in and tell me why I'm wrong. 800-920-1580. But if you red, black, and green like me all day, red, black, and green, red for the struggle and the blood, black for the people, green for the land and the future, you know, that's what I'm rocking with. Red, black, and green. We just passed the birthday of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So red, black, and green Pan-African flag is the one I'm flying. Anyway, we're going to ground ourselves. So if you are in a place where you can put your feet on the ground, please do so. If you can close your eyes or lower your gaze, please do that as well. Wherever you are, please take a deep breath in. And breathe out. The land which we inhabit in what is now known as Los Angeles is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Tongva, Quiche, Chumash, and Gabrielino people. We pay respect to the Tongva, Quiche, Chumash, Gabrielino, and all indigenous people, past, present, and future, and their continuing presence in the homeland and throughout their historical diaspora. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. We pay homage to those who were stolen from Africa, placed in bondage, falsely named as chattel, and forced into labor, who were called slaves, but never submitted as such, who have always been fully human with an unbroken connection to the divine and to each other. We honor our African ancestors for the still unpaid labor which built what is now the Americas. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. To both our indigenous and African forebears, we commit to the continued struggle for liberation and reparations, for it is only through freedom and justice that we truly give honor. Ashe.
Ashe.
And so on today's show, we're talking about, supposedly we beat the Confederacy, but in places like Mississippi, we still have strange fruit and a rash of lynchings, especially in Mississippi, but throughout the South. We know bodies have been hanging from trees in North Carolina, in Florida, in Mississippi, in Alabama. And I know if you're in California, you say, that's why I live in California. Let's not forget the bodies that have been found hanging in the Inland Empire in the Antelope Valley, that California is the home to more white supremacist groups than any other state in the entire country. Today, we're going to be talking about Mississippi's strange fruits with our brother Marquel Bridges of the Building Bridges Coalition, with Rukia Lumumba of Movement for Black Lives, who's a resident of Jackson, Mississippi, whose brother is the former mayor, Chokwe Antar Lumumba, and whose father is Chokwe Lumumba Sr., the former mayor, and also one of our movement elders and guides as an ancestor. Also joining us is the lead for Black Lives Matter Grassroots Mississippi and mother of Dexter Wade. Her name is Betterston Wade, and she will be joining us for a more than a hashtag conversation when we talk about strange fruit. We talk about lynching is actually the term for extrajudicial killings. It's not always hangings. When we talk about the bodies that are turning up, sometimes they are found hanging from trees. Sometimes they're found floating in rivers. As when we speak of Emmett Till's body was found floating in the river, in a Mississippi river, right? We know Jelani Day, the 25-year-old graduate student, his body was found floating in a river. For the more than a hashtag conversation, we'll be speaking with his mother, Carmen Bolden Day, who's putting on an event for Jelani today. And we'll be speaking with her for a more than a hashtag conversation. You're welcome into the conversation, 800-920-1580. When we come forward, we got Kim Holmes on headlines right here on This Is Not a Drill.
More of BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Up next, we got a lot to talk about.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in last day.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. a crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
You're listening to BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Now, back to the conversation.
Is integration in practice, but they're for it in principle. So the only solution is separation. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that this can be brought about simply by letting our people be exposed to the truth about ourselves, about the white man, about our history and our condition in this country. And once we are exposed to the complete truth about things as they actually exist in this country, the masses of black people will choose complete separation from this entire system, political system, economic system, social system, and whatever other aspect or description or adjective you want to attach to it. Let us go back home to our own people, live among our own kind, and solve our own problems ourselves.
Wow. Those are the words of the Honorable Haj Malik El-Shabazz, Minister Malcolm X. Thank you, Simeon, for pulling that. My name is Melina Abdullah. We're on with Kim Holmes for This Is Not a Drill. You're welcome into the conversation at 800-920-1580. We're jumping into these many, many headlines. What we got, Sister Kim?
Good morning, y'all. A new judge has been assigned in the Carmelo Anthony trial. A two-day hearing in Collin County, Texas. Judge Michael Chitty, the white Republican judge, Chitty. I could pronounce that a different way. Yeah, we're not gonna say it on air. SH.
We're not gonna make it a French pronunciation. We can make it a French pronunciation, but we're not gonna do that yet. Because we're gonna see what his ruling is.
Oh, that's true.
So if his ruling comes through righteous,
all right,
he's Judge Chitty. If his ruling does not come through righteous, we know it's a French spelling, a French pronunciation.
The white Republican judge replacing Judge John Roach,
who definitely fits his name.
Definitely
fits his name. Judge Roach is the most vile of creatures. But go ahead, keep going.
Another white Republican judge refused to issue a ruling on whether or not Carmelo Anthony would receive a new trial. Judge Chitty said that his ruling would come by email, likely on Monday. The two-day hearing revealed that evidence was suppressed that showed that the Metcalf twins had a long and documented history of racism and violence dating back to juvenile arrests in elementary school. Wonder what kind of household they were raised in.
Oh, we know because
we
saw their
elementary
father,
school.
We saw their father after the conviction.
Yeah, true.
Go on and call us. What did he call us? Watermelon eaters. And yeah, I'm sure he would have said more if he wasn't on video.
Of course. Hundreds turned out to support Carmelo and the Anthony family, including BLM grassroots chapters from Florida and California. Oh, Flora, you were there. What was your impression?
I was there. And so we were there for the duration of the trial, and we were there for the hearings. And we're grateful to be in community with Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. of the Black Panther Party. Cubs was there with us. Jacob Blake of Families United, father of Jacob Blake Jr., was with us. The Huey P. Newton Gun Club was there deep with us. And so we were there for the hearing. So on the 19th, we did get a partial victory where Judge Roach was recused from the case. So Judge Roach was removed and replaced by Judge Chitty on the 19th. The 20th was the day that the hearing was supposed to be for a retrial. And we were there all day on the 20th, there all day yesterday, the 21st. And then in the afternoon on the 21st, Judge Chitty said that he would not be issuing his ruling on that day, but would issue it by email to the attorneys. I will say, sitting in the overflow room, I did hear the testimony, and it was disgusting, Sora Kim, that the prosecutor and the supposed defense attorney were absolutely in bed together and had a quote unquote gentleman's agreement to not introduce the backgrounds of either of the children, right? Well, actually, Carmela was the only child. The Metcalf brothers were 18, right? Not to introduce any of their backgrounds. So Carmelo, what they were supposedly suppressing is that he and his girlfriend had broken up the night before. And I guess that was supposed to have sent him into a state of rage. The truth is, he and his girlfriend hadn't even broken up, right? They had a little, I mean, they're 17-year-old children. They had a little back and forth. And by the morning, they were back together. And she was telling him, don't be looking at no other girls at the track meet. Right.
So how is that even a thing?
That's not even
that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. And then the
No.
other thing that they suppressed for Carmelo is that in I think 2021 he had been jumped before. And that just shows me that Frisco, Texas is a racist place. That's all. That's not your fault when you're the victim of a crime.
Nope.
On the other hand, the Metcalf brothers had dozens and dozens, really close to 100 counts of violence and racism as young as 10 years old. They were actually, think about what it takes for white boys to be arrested and prosecuted as 10-year-old juveniles in Texas. They had written on walls something like the all power to the KKK. Kill all ends. They had beaten up girls before. They had jumped people before. They were seen by all of their classmates and teachers and school staff and athletic coaches as overly aggressive, as having said kill them about people at track meets before. And all of that indicates what we already knew, that Carmelo Anthony was forced to defend himself. And had Carmelo Anthony not defended himself, his name might be Nolan Wells.
Yep.
So we know that, and we also know that the power of the people is real. We're grateful that people showed up and are watching and are demanding that we free Carmelo. That's the hashtag free Carmelo.
A Free Carmelo Day of Solidarity is planned for next Saturday, August 29th. People all over the world are asked to wear purple and take action for Carmelo. In Los Angeles, folks will gather at the Center for Black Power, 3423 West 43rd Place at 4 p.m. for letter writing and calls to action. Additional actions have been announced in Chicago, Houston, and Dallas. More information posted on freecarmelo.net. Again, that's freecarmelo.net.
So freecarmelo.net to see where actions are being held, but also if you want to hold an action, and it can be anything from a protest to writing letters. I did get to see his parents while we were at the hearings. It means everything to them that we're there. I was in the overflow room with his aunt and uncle. Thank you to Sister Renee McKellar, who made these buttons that say Free Carmelo, that say self-defense is not a crime. It meant everything to them to take those buttons and put them on. Renee McKellar is the founder of Black Lives Matter Grassroots in the Antelope Valley chapter of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. So again, on the 29th, we're doing actions for Carmelo Anthony all over the world. Go to freecarmelo.net.
Gary, Indiana are now in their second week without power after a storm caused down power lines. The mostly Black community has not had its power restored, even though other areas that were hit by the same storm were up and running within a day or two. Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Gary has been distributing ice, food, and supplies. You can provide direct support through Zelle or PayPal at garychristumc@gmail.com. Should probably
It's
spell
Gary
that.
Christ UMC. So United Methodist Church. Gary, Gary, Christ, you know how to spell Christ, UMC garychrist@gmail.com. If you enter that into either PayPal or Zelle, it will take you to that account. garychrist@gmail.com. That is the fiscal agent for Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Gary, and you can donate. We need to donate. The power company has left Black people specifically without power. People are literally dying. It is hot. There is no AC. People need medication that is refrigerated. They can't get it. People are in their homes. I saw a 91-year-old person who had to be moved to the hospital because it's the only place with a generator. So if you donate to Gary Christ UMC, they are trying to buy generators. They're trying to buy ice so that people can live through this period. The power company is saying that the power won't be back up until next week. Can you imagine?
No.
Living for weeks without power. I tried to call our sister Akili, who founded that chapter, and I can't get through to her because her phone won't charge, right? Her phone is not charged. So please make sure we donate. It's really important to donate.
And the fact that this hasn't been news.
Right.
Like there should be an outcry.
Right.
It's like we have to force it.
That's right.
LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman has reduced charges to misdemeanors against the LAPD whistleblower who outed the Department for Racism, Sexism, and Homophobia. The DA had previously announced that Daniel Flores would face 16 felony counts and up to 13 years in prison for recording cops spewing disgusting language and attempting to report them. Mass outrage at the DA followed, including from BLMLA. This week, the DA announced his plan to reduce charges. DA Huckman still has not charged a single cop for killing Angelenos, including ICE agent Brian Palacios for the murder of Black father Keith Porter Jr.
So remember that he is in the pocket of LA Police Protective League, in the pocket of Association of Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs. That's who paid for Nathan Hochman. His brother runs the ALADS Foundation, David Hochman. Fact check me, y'all. I don't want you to just believe me. But mass outrage, including from Karen Bass, including from City Council member Hugo Soto Martinez, and including from BLMLA, forced him to reduce those charges. Now he should drop them. When we come forward, we have more headlines, but we are remembering that when we fight, we win. More to come right here on This Is Not a Drill.
More of BLM's This Is Not a Drill up next. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Vice President J.D. Vance is in his hometown of Middletown, Ohio, promoting the White House's America First economic agenda and manufacturing jobs.
You made a choice to reverse 40 years of American decline and make Donald Trump the president of the United States.
President Trump is also campaigning in South Carolina today ahead of next week's Republican Senate primary runoff. A Texas judge will continue hearing arguments on Carmelo Anthony's bid for a new trial. The Black 19-year-old was sentenced to 35 years for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet. Anthony's defense claims he acted in self-defense and was denied a fair trial. And the Navy is reportedly working to rename an aircraft carrier set to honor Black Pearl Harbor hero Doris Miller. CNN reports the carrier could instead be named for President Trump, though no final decision has been announced. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
My name is Asata Umoja. I'm with the Hyde Park Organizational Partnership for Empowerment, which is at the southern end of Crenshaw. And this community has been greatly impacted. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're most concerned about is just being totally neglected. And what I mean is being excluded from the process. When this project first started, they should have made sure that our organization, since we were most impacted, was in there. So we've been excluded, and we've seen commercial properties be taken for art projects. And we're very concerned about these are spaces that could help build economic growth and development in the community. And what this community needs more of is economic development, not art. I mean, I like art. It's a good thing. But they're putting the cart before the horse, because without a solid economic foundation, what they are calling cultural tourism absolutely has no significance and no meaning. And this community is going under if we don't stop and do something to help build that economic foundation and support the businesses that are the tax base for this community to build the kind of services that we need. And the response from our leadership is totally inadequate.
Holding them accountable. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Self-destruction. Yeah, it was self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, it was self-destruction.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know him, you trust him, and now the whole nation is taking notice. Talkers Magazine, the Bible of talk radio, has ranked Tavis Smiley number 14 on their prestigious Heavy 100 list. 100 voices, the most important in all of talk radio. Tavis has moved from number 45 to number 33 to number 16, and now he's in the top 15, right here on your station, His is one of the most trusted, credible, and reliable voices in broadcast media today. Straight, no chaser, always. Tavis brings you the conversations that matter, the newsmakers, the truth tellers, the voices that don't get heard anywhere else. Weekdays on this station. This is what it sounds like when your community has a seat at the table.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues right now.
These are African rhythms passed down to us through ancient spirits.
You're listening to This Is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580. My name is Melina Abdullah, and we are finishing up our headlines with my soror friend and comrade, Kim Holmes. What else we got, soror Kim?
On August 19th, the family of Erskine Jenkins held Erskine Day on what should have been his 22nd birthday. Erskine was killed by Lubbock County sheriffs 2 years ago while attending a Friendsgiving with no other Black folks present. Independent investigations have shown that someone used Erskine's credit card before the gathering to purchase alcohol, and Erskine seems to have been force-fed liquor before he passed out and was killed. The family is calling for a full investigation, the firing and prosecution of the sheriff's deputy who killed him, and that we boycott Doc's Liquors until they turn over the surveillance video, which can aid in the investigation. Jesus.
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. I'm grateful to have been present with our friend, Sister Sharon Jenkins. Sharon Jenkins also founded Black Lives Matter Grassroots, the Woodlands, Texas, in honor of her son. We were there with her entire family. And so the day started with a press conference where we were joined by the NAACP, Lubbock branch. And then we went to do a boycott and flyering of Doc's Liquors. It was interesting because they tried to call the police on us for handing out flyers, which is not illegal. And then they tried to get the other businesses around there to help them. But when we spoke with the other businesses, what was really interesting is one of the drive-thrus was like, we don't care if it's not about us, right? So they took the flyers, but the restaurant that was nearby said, well, the reason they're not going to share that video with you is because Doc's Liquors doesn't check anybody for ID. They regularly and knowingly sell to underage people, and so they don't want to be caught doing that again. And so, we're saying, look, this is a child's life. This is a child's life, a young man's life. Erskine was only 19 years old when he was killed, and we want to make sure that we get justice in his name. I also want to lift up that August 19th is a really important date. I don't know what is happening in the universe on that date, but I do know that it's the shared birthday of Erskine Jenkins and Nolan Wells, whose stories are very similar. So Nolan was supposed to be 19 on August 19th, and Erskine would have been 22 on August 19th. We also know that that was the hearing for Carmelo Anthony was August 19th. So I don't know what was in the water on August 19th. It's also our comrade Didan Kamathi's birthday, August 19th. I don't know what was in the water, but August 19th is a date, Christopher Okamoto was killed on August 19th. So all of this energy, and we pray that that energy is used to get justice in the name of Nolan Wells and of Erskine Jenkins, and justice for, because we can still get justice for Carmelo Anthony. What else we got?
Today at 4 p.m., BLMLA is riding to Riverside for Jacques Rabon. There are still seats on the bus. Jacques was a 23-year-old.
Jaquay.
Oh, I'm
You
pronouncing
thought
it
I
French.
forgot the C.
Jacques.
Right. We'll pronounce chitty French if he does the wrong thing. Jaquay is African American.
Jaquay was a 23-year-old musical artist who was unarmed when San Bernardino County sheriffs shot him in the back in broad daylight at a mall in Riverside. His family is now being threatened by the sheriffs for protesting. BLM Grassroots is supporting with today's protest, which will be held at 6 p.m. at 3784 Tyler Street in Riverside. We will assemble for the charter bus from the Crenshaw District at 4 p.m. Go to tinyurl.com/bus4Jaquay to reserve your space.
So look, get on the bus. This family needs support. You all have heard Sister Taisha on this show a few times, and we want to make sure that we support this family. So get on the bus. When you get on the bus, you'll get free, nice seat, air-conditioned bus. We will have dinner together. That's provided for you. There's free parking, so you can drive up to the bus, leave your car. It's going to be in a secure location for free. We're not going to tell you the location because we don't want everybody to know, but it's close by in the Crenshaw district. You can go to tinyurl.com/bus4Jaquay. Jaquay is spelled Jaque. Bus for Jaque. Sign up and we'll make sure that we send you the information. Again, that's 4 p.m. So you still have time to get on the bus. What else we got?
Mark your calendars for Mondays, 8 to 9 a.m. on Black Power Media YouTube for our Black August study sessions with Dr. Melina Abdullah and Brother Kalanji Changa. Changa, right?
Yeah, Kalanji
Okay.
Changa
Okay.
and I
Okay.
host all Black August, a study session Monday mornings.
Freedom Campus is back. Join Pan-African Studies Pro Seminar on Mondays, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on facebook.com/Melina.Abdullah. Is that a dot in there?
Yeah,
Melina.Abdullah.
That's right. So you can go to my Facebook page. We will live it on my Facebook page. We're trying to figure out if we could put it up on our YouTube. I don't know how to do that. So Angelina's going to help me. We're reading for both the study session with Kalanji as well as our pro seminar. We're starting with Blood in My Eye by George Jackson. You can pick up that book. They have copies at Reparations Book Club on Jefferson and Victoria. So you can pick up that book. And if you say you're in my class, you get a 10% discount. It's a really, really important read. So again, you can do Monday mornings, Monday nights, or both.
Come out on, come out on Tuesdays, 9 a.m. at 100 West 1st Street. Come to LA Police Commission meeting at 9 a.m. to make public comment. Also on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. at Inglewood City Hall, we roll with the family of Brian Bostic, who was killed earlier this year by Inglewood police. Wednesday at 4 p.m. at 211 West Temple is the weekly protest against DA Nathan Hochman and the police associations that support him. And finally, follow at BLM Los Angeles on Instagram for all of our actions.
And that's a wrap for headlines. When we come forward, we'll be in our More Than a Hashtag conversation with the mother of Jelani Day, Sister Carmen Bolden Day. Will be joining for that conversation.
BLM, this is not a drill, continues when we come forward.
All I need is one mic. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. My big mama used to say that there are 24 hours in a day, 12 hours to mind your business, and 12 hours to leave other folks' business alone. So let's talk about our business, Crenshaw business. For over 5 years now, the good people of the Crenshaw corridor have lived in a gated community, but not by choice. Gates, fences, barricades, limited street access, closed lots, and then some. By now, you've heard the stories from the folk who've lived this nightmare. Business owners have lost customers. A charter school lost students. A veterinarian lost clients. Churches have lost members. And still, Procrastination Crenshaw sits unfinished. And when I say sits unfinished, I mean sits unfinished. Nobody was seduced by the Jedi mind trick they tried to play when they ran that headline on the front page of a local black newspaper about the project restarting in weeks. I mean, come see for yourself. The only trucks on Crenshaw are deconstruction trucks. It took a minute, but to her credit, LA Mayor Karen Bass showed up and she's leaning in on getting...
Thanks, Sister Carmen.
But think about this for just a second. LA is...
We'll come to you right after the commercial, okay?
Blessed to have a black mayor and a black city council president. But where is the black city council president? Where is Marquise Harris Dawson? This is his project in his district, but he has been strangely quiet. Did you notice in the recent Los Angeles Times story about Procrastination Crenshaw that neither Marquise Harris Dawson nor Destination Crenshaw had a word to say on the record? The silence was deafening. When people ask me why the silence, all I can say is, good question. As a reminder, the Crenshaw Corridor community sent him a letter, and it laid out real demands: a public timeline, relief for the businesses that have suffered, and an audit. At the moment, the last one matters most: the audit. Here's the thing: the foundation money, the private donations, that's their business. But this project is also funded by city money, state money, and federal money. I refer you back to the front page story in that black newspaper where they all talked about this. Go read it again. In any event, it's your money. And when public money goes into a $100 million project that still sits unfinished, the public has a right to see where every dollar went. Contracts, budgets, payments, schedules. That's not too much to ask. Again, it's your money. Our letter gave Mr. Harris Dawson a deadline, Friday, September 4th, to respond. The clock is ticking, Mr. President. 12 hours to mind the public's business. And this is one of them. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
How did you want it?
Unapologetically progressive. Unapologetically black. More now, BLM's This Is Not a Drill.
My name is Melina Abdullah. You're listening to This Is Not a Drill, and we are entering our More Than a Hashtag conversation. We're in conversation with Sister Carmen Bolden Day, who is the mother of Jelani Day. You'll remember Jelani Day was a 25-year-old graduate student whose body was found in a river. And Sister Carmen Bolden Day has been struggling for justice in the name of her son ever since. She has been organizing ever since. And today she's holding an event in her son's honor. Sister Carmen Bolden Day, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a busy day for you, and we're very grateful that you carved out some time to be with us. Can you tell us a little bit about Jelani?
Yes, I can. Melina, thank you for having me. I'm going to say that first. And I'm also going to tell you, I'm at the venue. So if it gets kind of loud, they're in there trying to decorate and get everything together. So I try to get in the quiet space. But let me tell you, Jelani was the son that you would love if he was yours, okay? He was energetic, smart, very family-oriented. He was just special. He was special. He loved to help people. And this is what we're doing this for today. We're wanting to make sure that Jelani is remembered for who he was, what he wanted to do in his life, and who he would have been today.
And Sister Carmen, when you say he's a son that we would have loved, you did everything to raise your son. He graduated from an HBCU with honors. He was in graduate school to become a speech therapist, right?
A speech pathologist, yes. Yeah. Speech therapist. Yep.
Yes. He was in grad school. So not just educated, but becoming educated at the highest levels. What do we know? Because do we know anything about what happened to Jelani? What do we know?
We don't know anything. We do know that Jelani's car was found 63 miles away in a sundown town called Peru, Illinois. We do know that Jelani's wallet was found in one area. His phone was found in one area. His lanyard was found in another area. His clothing was found a mile up the river from where the body that was identified as him was found. We do know that my son didn't know nobody in Peru, Illinois. We do know that he was last in communication with the clinical director from ISU. And after that, we don't know anything. We don't know how he ended up in Peru. why his license plate was removed from his vehicle, why his phone was found on the side of the highway, why his body ended up in the river. They tried to paint the narrative that my son drove himself 63 miles away, parked his car, removed his license plates, walked through this little small white town, threw his wallet on the ground, threw his lanyard somewhere else, and took himself down and walked 3 miles to a river and took his clothes off and got in the water and drowned himself. We do know that's a lie. Jelani wouldn't have done that. There's no reason why anyone would drive 63 miles away to kill themselves when in between those 63 miles, there's so many other bodies of water. We do know somebody that commits suicide does not do all these things not to let us know why they've killed themselves. He had no signs and no history at all of any type of mental disorders or mental health issues. Jelani was strong. He was strong-willed and he was strong-minded. And he would never have done anything to himself.
So, Sister Carmen, he's your son, and I want to ask you this with as much care and love as possible. But we're seeing what happened to your son seems to be happening at a heightened pace right now with young Black men and boys and women being found in trees, being found in bodies of water, being found in all kinds of ways. And they're saying that these are suicides. And we know that just as your spirit tells you and my spirit tells me that this would not have been a suicide, I'm wondering how you're feeling when we see Nolan Wells, when we see what's happening in Mississippi, when we see bodies in Florida. Is it kind of bringing back up Jelani for you?
Melina, yes. As I've watched and seen what has been going on with Nolan, that was very triggering for me, especially to see how they've treated his mother, because when this happened to her, they were instantly thrust into national news. I didn't get that opportunity with Jelani, but however, in the background of all of that, I've gotten the same. There's always those people out there with all of these, their theories of who our children are, or what they would be doing, or what their character is. Then they want to talk about us as mothers and how can you stand in front of a camera so composed and articulate and not shed a tear. They don't see all the anguish that we're going through when we're not in front of you on a camera. You know, they expect us to be, I don't know what they expect us to be. Do you want me to be broken down? I'm absolutely broken down. But I have to get this message across to you. So I have to stand up in front of you and I have to be poised. I have to be able to talk and I have to be able to express myself. And just because I'm doing any of this does not mean I'm hurting any less. And the way that they depicted Christine and just assassinated her character, assassinated, anything about her, about what type of mother she was, or none of that matters. None of that matters, because right now, my child is gone. My child is missing. My child is dead, and we don't know why. So asking me, did I have custody of him, or asking me, was Jelani mad at me? What does that even matter?
Right. Sister Carmen, you're having an event today to lift your son's spirit, but also do justice in his name. And I'm always in awe of you and of all the justice moms who, as I know Sister Deanna Joseph is with you today, She always talks about turning your pain into purpose. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing there today?
Well, I started the Jelani Day Foundation because when I was looking for Jelani, searching for him, there's all these different organizations and everybody, and a lot of them were focused on Black females or missing white women. There was not a lot of resources or anything for Black and brown missing males. And the things that I've experienced, the lack of attention, the stereotyping of Jelani, because he drove a nice car. He lived me and his dad had put him in a nice apartment. He smoked weed. He was last seen at a dispensary. They stereotyped my son. So this foundation that I have formed, I want to make sure that no other mother or family has to go through what we went through. I want to be able to provide the resources. I want to be able to make the connections with them with media. I want to be able to even give them, quote unquote, a blueprint on how to navigate through this. Not that I'm a pro, but because I went through some things. I would hate for somebody to have to go through what I've been going through, or what I went through in the beginning. I didn't know the things to ask. I didn't know the people to talk to. I didn't know how to navigate through this. And I still don't, and I'm not an expert, but I do want to render what I do know to help somebody else. And so that's the purpose of the foundation. And also, because I know that Jelani's purpose was to help people, it has pushed me to help people.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Sister Carmen, can you tell us, if people want to support the Jelani Day Foundation, where do they go? What do they do?
If you want to support us, please, please, please. First of all, follow us on all socials, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, Justice for Jelani Day. And also go to our website, thejelanidayfoundation.org. Please be patient with me. Like I said, I'm not a professional in this. I am getting the website together. We are trying to keep information updated on the website, but you can also donate on the website. There's a link on there that you can donate. You can find out things about when Jelani went missing, and hopefully soon I'll have a page up. Well, it'll keep everyone current with the steps that I'm making and the progress that I'm making. Even though I feel like the progress that I'm making right now, I keep on hitting brick walls. Every time I think I've made a 10 steps, I get pushed back 20. I still, because of the support that I've had from complete strangers, I still would like for you all to continue to support us, but I want to make sure you're updated on my journey.
Thank you so much. The JelaniDayFoundation.org, the JelaniDayFoundation.org. We'll also tweet it out from BLM Grassroots. Sister Carmen Bolden Day, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you a really, really successful event, and sending you all the love.
And if anybody still wants to come to the event tonight and you're in the Chicagoland area, we are in Broadview, Illinois at the Red Door Meeting Place. The doors will open at 4 p.m. It starts at 5. Our keynote speaker today will be none other than Attorney Benjamin Crump. So please come out and support us. We would appreciate that. Tickets are $75 and they are being sold at the door also.
Thank you so much, Sister Carmen. Wishing you well on that event, and stay in touch. Okay. Let us know.
Okay.
How we can be.
Thank you, Melina.
Okay. More to come when we come forward. We'll be talking about Mississippi's strange fruit with Marquel Bridges, with Rukia Lumumba, and with the mother of Dexter Wade, Sister Betterston Wade. More to come.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Vice President J.D. Vance is in his hometown of Middletown, Ohio, promoting the White House's America First economic agenda and manufacturing jobs.
You made a choice to reverse 40 years of American decline and make Donald Trump the President of the United States.
President Trump is also campaigning in South Carolina today ahead of next week's Republican Senate primary runoff. A Texas judge will continue hearing arguments on Carmelo Anthony's bid for a new trial. The Black 19-year-old was sentenced to 35 years for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet. Anthony's defense claims he acted in self-defense and was denied a fair trial. And the Navy is reportedly working to rename an aircraft carrier set to honor Black Pearl Harbor hero Doris Miller. CNN reports the carrier could instead be named for President Trump, though no final decision has been announced. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you, quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500, plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here's a strange and bitter cry.
That's, of course, Billie Holiday, Strange Fruit. We know that we're at a place in this country where strange fruit are hanging from trees all over this country, but especially in Mississippi, where at least 7 bodies have been discovered in recent months. At least 7 bodies have been discovered. There have been bodies discovered in North Carolina, bodies discovered in Florida, bodies discovered in New York. There were bodies discovered in California. Strange fruit, strange fruit. And the powers that be are trying to tell us that Black people are hanging themselves from trees. We know that Black people do not hang themselves from trees. Black people do not beat themselves and then lynch themselves at the center of campuses. Black people don't drive 63 miles and drop their cell phones and their IDs and then jump into rivers. Black people are not lynching themselves. We are at a time when fascism is already here, and fascism is not just about the authoritarian, right-wing authoritarianism, which is the textbook definition of fascism, but we know that fascist so-called leaders unleash racism, rampant, violent racism throughout the country. And what we're seeing is absolute lynchers given carte blanche to steal Black life. We have joining us to talk about what's happening, talking about the strange fruit found in Mississippi, strange fruit found in Alabama, strange fruit found in Georgia, strange fruit found in Florida. We have joining us one of my dearest brothers and one of the most committed organizers that I know, Marquel Bridges. Wait, Marquel, do you have a beard? Did you grow face? You look different.
Thank you. I got it cleaned up. I just lined it up.
All right. Marquel Bridges of Building Bridges Coalition is joining us, and we're hoping to have Sister Betterston Wade join in just a few moments, along with Sister Rakia Lumumba. But I want to start the conversation with you, Brother Marquel, because you've been at the center of some of this work to demand justice. And I want to lift up, because people move on very often from who we're fighting for, right? That we're just adding to the list of people that we're fighting for. We can't move on until we get justice in the names of the people we're fighting for, right? Emmett Till's family shows us this, that they never moved on from Emmett Till, even as they struggle for justice for everybody else as well. So I think about last year, everybody was talking about Trey Reed, and they think that we're moving on from Trey Reed. We cannot move on from Trey Reed. And we're not moving on from any of them. Marquel Bridges, you are a native of Mississippi. You are an organizer largely in Mississippi, also in Alabama. Can you tell us what your impression is of this rash of lynchings that we're now seeing in Mississippi and throughout the South, throughout this country?
I need to go on Do Not Disturb. I'm getting calls. Thank you for having me, Doc. Love you. Hey, Miss Kim. What my impression is what has always been, the deeper we educate ourselves, we learn that America moves in cycles, and we're just in this cycle of oppression, where all of these things that's been going on is going on again. We know Malcolm and Martin and Garvey was talking about the same things we're dealing with: economic power, access to loans, the police brutality, state-sanctioned terrorism, and them killing us. This is nothing new under the sun, and we're just in that cycle. So, my impression is Emmett Till never got justice. Vernon Damer, Lamar Smith, all of these icons that are civil rights leaders within Mississippi that were murdered for their people for simply thinking that the Constitution applies for us, thinking that the Bill of Rights applies to us.
Marquel Bridges is being hit up a lot, but he's talking about this long history of lynchings. I want to give a clear definition of lynchings, right? that many times people think lynchings are strange fruit hanging from trees. Strange fruit hanging from trees. They are strange fruit hanging from trees, but they are also the history of this country, right? That people are killed by police, but when we talk about people being killed, Black people being killed by police and white supremacy, in many ways, those are one and the same thing. That the same people that wear blue uniforms during the day wear white sheets when the sun goes down.
Yep.
And so it's really important that we understand that when we're talking about strange fruit hanging from trees, that that's woven into the history of this country. But strange fruit isn't the only form of lynching. We know that lynchings also occur when we're talking about bodies being found in rivers and lakes, that those are lynchings. Nolan Wells was likely lynched. And so all these forms of the theft of Black life are lynchings. Marquel Bridges, you're back. What do you want to add to that, Brother Marquel?
He says he can't hear.
Oh, he says he can't hear. Okay. So he'll work on his audio and I can keep going. Sister Kim, you know a lot about this. You're from North Carolina.
I am from North Carolina.
What are your thoughts?
I think that it is interesting because of the time that we're in. Like what happened back then was we didn't have access to phones and cell phones and social media and cameras and people filming things. So I don't necessarily know, like, is this really happening more frequently? Is it just we're able to see and hear what's happening? Because the media does such a good job of hiding things from us that do we really know if this is more heightened? I know that we are certainly seeing it more, but is it really? But anyway, that's not really the point. The point is that we are under attack in ways that we have not been recently, and we have to figure out a way to move forward and protect ourselves.
And to be clear, I don't think anybody's arguing that there are more lynchings now than there were pre the passage of the Civil Rights Act, right? I don't think anybody's making that argument, but we do see a surge of lynchings happening, even though they're not calling them lynchings. We will call them lynchings.
Yeah, for sure.
We see a surge in recent months. And I think that there's an absolute connection when you say gloves off, when you have a president who is a white supremacist, when you have his best friend in Elon Musk doing Heil Hitler signs, when you say that the Charlottesville lynchers, would-be lynchers, are probably good people on both sides, right? When you have that kind of messaging, it absolutely unleashes some of the most vile and violent people on our folks. And I think that I know I haven't felt this way in my lifetime. I'm 53 years old. I haven't felt this way in my lifetime where, even just driving from DFW to Collin County, Texas, we're having to be careful, right? Where, my son, he won't say it, but I know he feels it. It's going, maybe I shouldn't be in this group of all white friends, right? These are the things that we have to say in Mississippi for certain, but also everywhere that we are. And Marquel Bridges is back. When we come forward, we're going to check back in with Marquel, because in Mississippi alone, I believe in recent weeks, it's been 7 bodies discovered in trees. 7 bodies discovered in trees. More on this strange fruit, more on the surge in lynchings, more on the work that we have to do as descendants of Mama Ida B. Wells, whose red record was hugely important in pushing this anti-lynching movement, which continues even now, because anti-lynching legislation is just now seeing the light of day in Congress, just now, more than 100 years later. right? So if you want to get in on the conversation, our phone number is 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. More with Marquel Bridges and prayerfully also Betterston Wade and Rakia Lumumba when we come forward.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Marquel, can you hear okay now?
Yeah, I had to go do not disturb. I kept getting phone calls back to back, and it made the sound go out. So I had to leave and come back in and just put my phone on do not disturb.
Good, I'm glad you did that. I don't know where either one of them are.
Wireless. Straightforward. Always.
I know Sister Betterston doesn't check her.
To the base monthly price of our 44.
Let me. You want me to call her?
Yeah, can you?
Scream.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay. I texted her the link and emailed it.
Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in last 10 minutes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. These are hard times for housing in America. Too many in our community face barriers to safe housing, behavioral health care, and affirming spaces for healing, particularly those impacted by poverty and stigma or incarceration. Rooted in South LA, Ahmad supports impacted communities through housing, wellness, and leadership development. Ahmad provides culturally responsive, peer-led support from transitional housing and mental health services to leadership development and youth empowerment. They offer safe, affirming houses for youth, transgender women, and formerly incarcerated individuals. Therapy and peer support with a focus on healing trauma in Black communities. HIV prevention and care, free testing, education, and wraparound services for whole person wellness. Standing in the gap with health, housing, and hope. Reach out to Ahmad Institute at 323-569-1610. That's 323-569-1610. Or visit amaad.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues right now.
Mississippi, goddamn, this is our last tune. We had some requests for it. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn.
Mississippi G Dam. Mississippi G Dam. And of course, that's our beloved ancestor, Nina Simone. We want to make sure that as we talk about the 7 bodies now that have been found hanging from trees, that we remember it's Mississippi and it's also more than Mississippi. Here in California, sometimes people have a false sense of safety. We want to remember 2 Black men were found hanging from trees. Malcolm Harsh and Robert Fuller were found hanging from trees. Their deaths were never solved. They tried to say that these were suicides. We, of course, know that Black people don't suicide by hanging ourselves from trees. We don't suicide by hanging ourselves from trees. And this was 2 Black men back to back in 2020, found hanging in 2020, found hanging from trees in 2020. Now we're back at a rapid pace of bodies hanging from trees, Black bodies hanging from trees, especially in Mississippi. We're grateful that Marquel Bridges has been involved in trying to bring justice in those cases and trying to, Marquel, I don't know if you heard us, but oftentimes when we talk about trying to get to the bottom and investigate and tell the truth on what's happening, people say, well, let's call the police and have them investigate. But the same people who wear blue in the day wear white sheets at night. And so it's been really people like you and people like Sister Betterston, people like Sister Rukia, and many, many more who are doing our own investigations, because they're going to say it's suicide. They're going to say, no, there's no foul play, right? We've heard that a million times. There's no foul play, right? So the people have to do the investigations. Brother Marquel, what is your sense of what's happening now? And then I want to go back to Trey Reed and talk about him as well. And I think you're on mute, Brother Marquel.
Yes, ma'am. Could you repeat your question for me?
So what's your sense of what's happening in Mississippi? You are born and raised in Mississippi, lived in Mississippi and Alabama, and we know that at least 7 bodies have been discovered in recent weeks. What's your sense about what's happening?
Actually, been tracking. There's 22 since March. 22 lynchings. All have been deemed suicide. Before an autopsy, before an investigation. Soon as they're found, they're deemed suicide. So it's a pattern. It's a blueprint. Same scenario over and over and over of injustice. The system, people have to understand, our system in Mississippi is corrupt. Even when you're talking about at a base level, we're just talking about corruption from top to bottom. This didn't begin with me or these new leaders. This has been going on a very, very long time, all over the country, but definitely in Mississippi, where they're just denying our people justice. And at least in the past, they would call it what it was, call it a lynching. Now they're calling it suicide. And confusing people. But once you look at these cases, they all go unsolved. The autopsy is all misconstrued. Either some organs are missing, or just the evidence is not there. They're refusing to turn over evidence to the family's attorneys. The same, and Nolan Wells just brought this to front and center for the world to see how Mississippi gets down. None of it makes any sense, any logical sense, any sense of the law. It's just white supremacy and corruption doing what white supremacy and corruption do.
And Brother Marquel, did you say it's 22 that you've found in Mississippi since March? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's all over the country, not just Mississippi. It's been 22 since March of 2025, and the similarities are all the same. Soon as they find the body, they declare it suicide, no autopsy, no investigation.
Right. And what we know is 7 in Mississippi alone. 7 in Mississippi alone is what I've seen reported in recent weeks. So not over the last year and a half. We're talking about in the span of 6 weeks, 7 bodies hanging from trees in Mississippi alone. Brother Marquel, you were one of the leads on calling for justice in the name of Trey Reed, because we know, as you've lifted up, that Black people, we're not saying Black people don't suicide. Black people do suicide because this world will make you. This world is heavy, right? I don't know anybody Black who's never contemplated anything, right? Everybody Black has contemplated something, right? Not seriously. I remember my own only contemplation was when my ex-husband and I broke up before we got married. I remember saying, "Oh, it's over," and I just held my breath. Right? That's not a real attempt, right? So I'm not saying that we all have real attempts. But I think that we've all thought about the world being heavy, right? The world being heavy. And so Black people sometimes do suicide, and I'm very disturbed by that as well, especially the increased suicide rates for young Black men. But when we suicide, and there's data on this, so I always tell people, don't just believe me. Don't just believe anybody. I want you to look it up. Don't believe AI either. AI is stupid and wrong a lot of times, right?
Yep.
So I want you to really do this research, right? That when Black people suicide, it's usually through guns or pills. I have never heard a legitimate story of someone Black suiciding by tying a rope or a belt around their necks and hanging themselves from a tree. And your antennas went up, Marquel. Mine did too. And we knew that Trey Reed did not suicide by tying something around his neck and lynching himself in the middle of a campus at Delta State University. Can you start by talking about Trey Reed, Marquel?
Definitely. Thank you. Amazing, bright young man, loved and cherished by his family. We never believed their narrative. Their narrative never made any sense. How he could be, this Black brother could be found hung, lynched, we'll call it what it is, in the middle of a campus, the one spot where there is no cameras, perfect coincidence. The one spot that's considered the white hangout spot on campus, and known to the people to always be there, and no one see anything. So he was indeed lynched. We ran into the same thing that Nolan Wells' family is running into. They refused to turn over his throat. We just now learned, because we was waiting on Crump to release the second autopsy to further update us on what happened. We know the preliminary autopsy showed that he had blunt force trauma to the back of his head. But to get a fuller and detailed autopsy, the longer explanation, they are still, if I'm not mistaken, still waiting on organs from the state to complete the autopsy, Colin Kaepernick's foundation, and that's what's the holdup. So Mississippi doing what Mississippi do. These coroners, these medical examiners, all of these people are complicit. And that's what I meant when Malcolm X's speech in 1960s saying the same thing about how these coroners are complicit in these cover-ups and these Black murders.
These coroners are complicit. The whole system is guilty. And as we try to struggle for justice, bodies are piling up in Mississippi. We know that what's gained some social media attention is the body of Tasia. Is it pronounced Tasia? Tasia Fortune in Jackson, Mississippi has gained some media attention. But there's many, many others. And so when we come forward, we're going to talk about how we make sure that we speak it, but also organize. And so it's not coincidental that Ida B. Wells, was organizing in Mississippi. That's not coincidental. And so we're going to make sure that we lift it up and that we organize so that our Black folks, our brothers and sisters and siblings are protected. Grateful to have you, Marquel Bridges. More to come. You're welcome to join the conversation at 800-920-1580.
BLM, this is not a drill, continues when we come forward.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. Black residents in Gary, Indiana are begging for help after being without power for going on 2 weeks. Many have taken to social media to share their stories. The outages plague about 45,000 homes and businesses. The outages happened after storms August 11th. Here's Gary Mayor Eddie Melton.
The latest restoration for, I believe, with 95 to 100% will be August 25th.
To the Carmelo Anthony case, the then Black teen who murdered Austin Metcalf at a Texas track meet. Anthony's team celebrating a win after the former judge has been booted from presiding over the new trial. Well, actor Michael Wright has passed away this week. He was best known for his breakout role in The Five Heartbeats, playing Eddie King Jr. Wright's wife, Susan, confirmed the news on his social media page. Michael Wright was 70 years old. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Seriously speaking, every Saturday when I hear the program about Altadena and how it may not come back, that's happening to us. This is the largest land grab since the gold rush in California. We have an EDD property, 59,000 square feet. Our elected representative determined that she should write a bill that would declare it to be surplus. So now guess what we're getting? Affordable housing. So I hope that we can start listening to one another, because there is a domino effect. If you don't care about us, guess what? We won't be here and then you won't be here.
Not letting them get away with anything. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't back down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you feeling the heat? LADWP can help you stay cool this summer and save money. Through the Cool LA program, eligible customers can receive instant rebates of up to $275 on new portable, window, and wall air conditioners. Shop the Cool LA marketplace today and beat the heat and save. Learn more and apply at ladwp.com/cool-LA. That's ladwp.com/cool-LA.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dionne Raymond, Justice Correspondent and host of the Justice Files. For years, LA City Councilman Curran Price has served his district. And for years, he's been under a legal cloud which, frankly, looks thinner every time it's tested in court. Last Friday, a Superior Court judge refused to throw out the corruption case against Price. That's true. But listen to what the judge actually said while doing it. Judge Larry Paul Fiddler called this not a great case. Not our words, his. Price's attorney, standing right there in the courtroom, said it plainly. In denying our motion, the court acknowledged that this is not a great case. We agree. Now, that's not a ringing endorsement of a prosecution. That's a judge saying, essentially, there's just enough here to send it to a jury. Barely. The ruling itself says nothing about guilt. It's not proof of wrongdoing. What it is a low bar, cleared by a thin margin, on evidence the court itself has called circumstantial. Councilman Price has pleaded not guilty. He denies the allegations. And after 3 terms representing his district, he's term limited and on his way out of office, regardless of how this case ends, which raises a fair question. What exactly is served? By dragging a longtime champion for working families in South Los Angeles through a trial that even the presiding judge doesn't sound confident about. We're not saying elected officials should not be held accountable. They should. But accountability means something different from a prosecution that struggles to convince the very judge overseeing it. Curran Price deserves his day in court, and he deserves the presumption of innocence any one of us would want for ourselves or a loved one, especially when the bench itself has doubts. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dionne Raymond, Justice Correspondent and host of the Justice Files. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Now, back to the conversation.
Mississippi is not actually Mississippi's problem. Mississippi is America's problem.
God bless America. You wanna free us, pay them teachers like they senators. I pray my brother see the king and his people.
And we're in conversation with Marquel Bridges of Building Bridges Coalition. We're talking about the strange fruit, the bodies found hanging from trees in Mississippi and throughout this country. We talked about Trey Reed. We're also talking about Tasia Fortune, whose body was found earlier this month hanging from a tree. I think she's a mother of 4 children. Her mother says there was no note left, no indications of suicide, but we know that police try to cover up sometimes crimes that they themselves are committing, because oftentimes the people who wear blue uniforms during the day trade them in for white sheets at night. So it's really important that the people organize ourselves to get as much justice as we can, but also to protect each other. I want to uplift and summon in the spirit of Mama Ida B. Wells, who was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi. And remember that Mama Ida B. Wells talks about how we have to keep each other safe. She said, and this is a quote, I have to quote it. This is a quote. Nobody say I said it. This is the words of Ida B. Wells, that a Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every Black home and provide the justice with which the law refuses to give. A Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every Black home and provide the justice which the law refuses to give. So, Black people that got to keep each other safe. Black people also have to make sure that we think about Mama Ida B. Wells' work in collecting the red record, because they will tell us that Nolan Wells simply was part of an accident. They will tell us that Trey Reed, a college student, tied a belt around his own neck, that he beat himself in the back of his own head, and then lynched himself, hung himself from a tree in the middle of campus in the only place that's not monitored by video. They will tell us that, but we have to dig up the truth for ourselves. Marquel Bridges, thank you for being one of the truth tellers as well as justice seekers. What do we know about Tasia Fortune?
Their initial lie, which makes no sense, is they tried to put it on her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, or associate, a Black brother who was already in their custody, who immediately spoke up and admitted their interaction. But that's all we know at the moment. That's just how she was found. But they haven't released any ties, any evidence, or anything saying the brother had something to do with it. They just labeled him as a suspect and essentially just put a bad jacket on the Black man that, from all appearances that I'm finding, says he was already in custody at the time this happened. So that's all we know. There haven't been really any answers. The police haven't been transparent, and none of the local leaders have been transparent either.
And I think even they have moved on from him as a suspect because we know not only do Black people not suicide by hanging ourselves from trees, Black people also, I don't know of Black people who kill each other by hanging them from trees.
No.
And so that tends to be what they do, not what we do. Marquel, just in terms of community safety, have you noticed a shift at all in how we keep each other safe or what we're calling for in order to be safer? I know Nolan Wells was also killed in Mississippi. And so I think there's been some light shed on what white folks might be doing, even young white folks might be doing to Black people.
Yeah, we had baby Cohen, a 1-year-old baby, Senatobia, Mississippi, and then a few weeks after Nolan and baby Cohen, they killed a 66-year-old disabled Black man named Spencer Eckford. So the overall safety, there's been a collective mindset. I'm hoping and praying, and I'm holding out hope that this is continue. I think this has traveled throughout the country. Even when you spoke earlier in your introduction of, how your children are questioning the fact, like, yeah, I may have been knowing you. Is it safe to go out? So I think it's a collective conscious shift that needed to happen because we have to live in objective reality. And our reality is white supremacy is killing us. State-sanctioned violence is killing us from the police. And we have to be conscious and aware to protect each other. And just like Ida B. Wells said, arm yourself for self-defense. This is just another cycle. You're being in LA, Dr. Molina, and soaking up all of that knowledge and wisdom and growing up under the guidance of everyone, including Huey P. And actually having to see that in real time. It's just another cycle where that type of energy, those type of leaders are needed in this moment to protect our communities. I give a big shout out to what's the organization in Detroit that's policing their own community? New Era, I think that's what it's called, or whatever. So we just need a overhaul and a collective effort to police ourselves, hold ourselves accountable, and protect our own communities.
Right. And I think you're also talking about the community outside of Cincinnati, Lincoln Heights, which is a Black autonomous community where when white supremacists tried to come in and terrorize Black children who were coming home from school, that autonomous Black community, that sovereign Black community, because they established it as their own independent town legally. It's a legal autonomous community with their own city council, with their own systems. They came and they were armed and they made sure that those white supremacists ran and jumped back in that U-Haul that they came in. Y'all can look that up. Again, that was Lincoln Heights last year. And so the idea that we have to keep each other safe is super important. And it's not that Black people want to be armed, but it's that Black people have to be armed. Black people have to have some skills. In the midst of Black August, when we say that we fast, we study, we train, and we fight, right? It's about how prepared are we? Can you run? Can you run? Can you get out there clutches? Can you throw a punch, right? But also there's other kinds of training that needs to happen in order to make sure that we're safe. I think one of the things that we can do very quickly, and as a mother, one of the things I've encouraged in my children is to also make sure that you're always in a group of Black people. Like being the Black boy in the white group is actually not safer, because the white boys that you might be calling your friends, ask Nolan Wells what happened, right? White boys that you might think are your friends are still white boys, especially if they're in a group all together. Ask Erskine Jenkins, right? And so we need to make sure that we keep each other safe. When we come forward, we'll have more with Marquel Bridges. Marquel, I want to ask you if there's any calls to action that you all have to bring justice in Mississippi. And then we have several calls to action here in California. You're welcome to call in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. More to come.
BLM's This is not a drill, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. My big mama used to say that there are 24 hours in a day, 12 hours to mind your business, and 12 hours to leave other folks' business alone. So let's talk about our business, Crenshaw business. For over 5 years now, the good people of the Crenshaw corridor have lived in a gated community, but not by choice. Gates, fences, barricades, limited street access, closed lots, and then some. By now, you've heard the stories from the folk who've lived this nightmare. Business owners have lost customers. A charter school lost students. A veterinarian lost clients. Churches have lost members. And still, Procrastination Crenshaw sits unfinished. And when I say sits unfinished, I mean sits unfinished. Nobody was seduced by the Jedi mind trick they tried to play when they ran that headline on the front page of a local black newspaper about the project restarting in weeks. I mean, come see for yourself. The only trucks on Crenshaw are deconstruction trucks. It took a minute, but to her credit, LA Mayor Karen Bass showed up and she's leaning in on getting our parking back. But think about this for just a second. LA is not Chocolate City, and yet we are blessed to have a black mayor and a black city council president. But where is the black city council president? Where is Marquise Harris Dawson? This is his project in his district, but he has been strangely quiet. Did you notice in the recent Los Angeles Times story about Procrastination Crenshaw that neither Marquise Harris Dawson nor Destination Crenshaw had a word to say on the record? The silence was deafening. When people ask me why the silence, all I can say is, good question. As a reminder, the Crenshaw Corridor community sent him a letter, and it laid out real demands: a public timeline, relief for the businesses that have suffered, and an audit. At the moment, the last one matters most, the audit. Here's the thing: the foundation money, the private donations, that's their business. But this project is also funded by city money, state money, and federal money. I refer you back to the front page story in that black newspaper where they all talked about this. Go read it again. In any event, it's your money. And when public money goes into a $100 million project that still sits unfinished, the public has a right to see where every dollar went. Contracts, budgets, payments, schedules. That's not too much to ask. Again, it's your money. Our letter gave Mr. Harris Dawson a deadline, Friday, September 4th, to respond. The clock is ticking, Mr. President. 12 hours to mind the public's business. And this is one of them. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
How did you want it?
BLM's This Is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dig, if you will, the picture of you and I engaged in a kiss. The sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling? Can you?
And of course, we can never get through a show without playing some Prince. Appreciate you, Simeon. Appreciate you. I also want to lift up that I want to dedicate this show to my cousin Byron Freeman. My cousin Byron Freeman disappeared mysteriously in Texas, where my family is from. And we believe that he was lynched. He was an elder. His car was discovered and he was not. And so we uplift Cousin Byron and dedicate this show to Cousin Byron. We remember these bodies are not just bodies. There are cousins, there are siblings, there are mothers, there are fathers, there are children. And so we struggle for justice. We summon the spirit of Mama Ida B. Wells, whose Red Record helped to tell on what was happening, document what was happening, but also call for justice. We have a caller calling in. Michaela is on line one.
Good morning, family.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
That's our Michaela. How you doing, Sister Michaela?
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm well. I'm well. Packing up and ready for the semester that starts on Monday. I wanted to call in and ask a question while we're having this conversation on just the tragedies and lynchings that have been happening, especially in Mississippi and all around the country. We lift up a lot of the names from Trey Reed to Nolan Wells, Baby Cohen Wiley, and with all of this, and the names we're learning and uplifting, I wanted to ask, because this is a collective grief that we have, seeing like body after body being found, story after story, and we know when we fight, we win. We know that how important it is to uplift these stories, to hold these institutions accountable, but still there will be people who are like not wanting to hold that grief because it's heavy. So what would y'all say to those people who want to look away or not face the reality that we're living in?
What would you say to people who want to look away? One, I want to just say how grateful we are to you, Sister Michaela, for being, as a young person, willing to pour yourself into the work. That means the world. And so what would you say to people who want to look away? I see Sister Betterston Wade was able to log on. And Sister Betterston, I'm grateful to have you on. Was grateful to be with you earlier this week. I'm wondering, as the mother of Dexter Wade, and we have just a few minutes, if you want to address Sister Michaela's question, what do you say to people who want to look away and don't want to grapple with the murders of our people at the hands of police, at the hands of white supremacists? What do you say, Sister Betterston Wade? You're on mute. There you go. No, you were. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, my pick on it is your loved one, someone that's close to you, someone that you brought into the world. How can you turn your back when somebody just snatched him up and took him from you? Didn't even have, in my situation, didn't even have the last image of your child or where your child calling your name. How can you walk away and let somebody get away with that pain that you got to take for the rest of your life? How can you accept what they did to you? That's something you can't turn your back on. Even if you wanted to, you got to stand up because they not here to stand up for themselves. Now you is in their shoes. You are their voice. You everything to make them stand up and make you get justice, accountability, transparency. That's you. Who else gonna do that? They can't do it. So you got to stand up. You got to stand up. And you got to fight for the rights. Because they're just not going to give them to you. And they're going to do everything they can to close you and shut you down. But you still got to go and make that stand. And if you lose that courage, that energy, then you're not going to get justice. Because no justice is going to come to your door.
So, Sister Betterston, I really appreciate that, because what you're invoking is that this is all of our responsibility. So not just you as the mother of Dexter Wade, but we have to get justice collectively as Black people. We have to get justice. I see Angel Marie is calling in online too. Hi, Angel Marie. Our young ones are up calling in. What you got for us, Angel Marie?
Thanks, y'all. Good morning. I also wanted to echo a question that Sister Michaela posed, and also thank y'all for the amazing work that you're doing day in and day out around these things. Like you said, Doc, us young people, we are watching and seeing the work that y'all are pushing around these matters really gives us hope. And the question that I want to ask today is, a lot of the states that have been impacted by these modern day lynchings are not in California. And kind of similar to Michaela's question, for those of us who live in California who want to get connected, but are trying to find the connection between our state and these impacted states, what is the connection that we can help draw to make that happen?
So, Brother Marquell, let's have you respond to that. And we have just about a minute. Why should people all around the country be involved? Right now, we're seeing this happening in Mississippi. But why should we in California and New York and other places be invested in making sure that we expose and address and seek justice in these murders?
First of all, shout out to the young people in BLM LA, BLM Grassroots. Because of y'all shedding the light on Mississippi, people are just now learning about Rasheem Carter 4 years later and Dexter Wade. So the young people are raising a very good question, because it's how you prevent Emmett Till, Vernon Damer, Medgar Evers. The South, musically, not to quote Andre 3000, has had something to say musically, but we've also had something to say from an oppression standpoint. And without that voice, without that tool, in most of these local places, there isn't any media. So we have trouble getting the story out. And by God's grace, he connected me with Dr. Molina and other warriors from other places that helped shed the light on Mississippi, and we're still having the fight of our life. We're still constantly combating white supremacy and going backwards instead of forward. So everyone everywhere, this is happening everywhere. Everyone everywhere needs to be tapped in with each other in a collective consciousness for our people to receive justice. And they answered their own question, because the young people are looking to us. That's why we show up.
Ashe. Brother Marquell, how do people stay connected with your work?
Marquell Bridges on all platforms. We just got the Building Bridges Coalition website set up. So that's buildingbridgescoalition.com. We're doing a Freedom Riding Conference in November, which, Doc, I was going to invite you. I invite you on air to be our keynote. Put you on the spot a little bit, but now I know you'll be willing to come if you're free. But yeah, that's what we were talking about, and we thought that would be great. So we're just preparing for that. But Marquell Bridges on all platforms, and more than tapping in with me, tap in with these families, tap in with these leaders on the ground. They need your support. They need their people.
Thank you, Brother Marquell. And Sister Betterston Wade, not only are you the mother of Dexter Wade, you are our chapter lead for Black Lives Matter Grassroots Mississippi. How do people follow your work? And we got just about 10 seconds.
Okay, I am Dexter Wade Law Sheep Foundation, and I be out at Lynn Fitch office. Marquell Bridges, he's behind me, and if you get in touch with Marquell Bridges, Bridges Coalition, they will put you in touch with me, Forest Jackson, Mississippi, and the surroundings areas. But I always be at Lynn Fitch office every second Monday, and every month. Come join me if you impact the family and you have not gotten any justice. Come join me to try to get justice.
Thank you. And we'll share that information and all information at BLM Grassroots on all social media and blmgrassroots.org. I'm Melina Abdullah. Thank you to Kim Holmes for being my co-host. Until next week, thank you all. Peace out.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN.